If you've ever felt lost in life, then the Pathless may be the game you never knew you were looking for. You play as the hunter and are tasked to dispel a curse in order to bring light back to the world. A large portion of the Pathless is spent traversing the vast landscape. Whether zooming through a forest or exploring complex, ancient ruins, the hunter's movement feels great as she easily adapts to every situation. She can walk, run, dash, and jump, and with the help of her eagle she can glide and fly to reach high up cliffs and structures. The quickest way to get from point A to point B is by shooting floating talismans that are abundantly scattered throughout the land. Hitting one with your arrow gives you a speed boost, and while airborne it will send you up higher, allowing for extended airtime. What I enjoy most about the hunter's movement is how effortless it feels to control. She responds to each directional change just as I would expect her to. It's easy to transition from small precise steps to long bounding movement. The developers clearly spent a lot of time with this game in their hands because the controls just feel so finely tuned. The animation only adds to the experience. The hunter's actions are powerful and sharp, yet she also appears to move effortlessly as you explore the land. Speaking of the island, it is beautifully crafted. In fact, the entire visual design of the Pathless is a pleasure to behold. Before playing it, I kind of thought a lot of the footage in the trailers looked a little too samey. This was a huge concern for me, but fortunately there's plenty of variety in the environments, and there are some absolutely stunning moments you don't want to miss. I won't spoil any of that in this video though, so you'll just have to take my word for it. One thing I do want to mention is the motion blur setting. All of the footage you've seen has the motion blur turned off, and it's what I personally prefer. It does have a rather large impact on how the world looks, so I definitely recommend you experiment and find your own preference with this setting. So the Pathless is a very pretty game, and it's a blast to explore, but now let's talk about some puzzles. The world is chock full of cleverly designed, bite-sized puzzles. They mostly revolve around the hunter's bow and arrow, but there are plenty of other fun tools and mechanics you'll encounter. My favorite puzzle tool is actually the eagle. Your feathered friend can pick up blocks that you'll need to move for various tasks. I think that's so clever because it does away with the typically slow and frustrating process of manually pushing and pulling blocks. Here you simply go where you want the block to end up, and send your eagle off to do all the heavy lifting. Many of the puzzles in the Pathless are relatively short, but they're all satisfying to solve, especially when you line up that perfect shot with your bow and arrow. Puzzles aren't the only thing you'll be using your bow and arrow for. As you continue on your path, you'll eventually need to defeat large beasts that impede your progress. It's in this combat that the movement, the art, and the perfect shot is all combined to make an incredible battle. The hunter will automatically target what you look at. While that may sound frustrating, the game does a surprisingly good job at knowing what you actually want to shoot. Once targeted, pull the trigger to draw your bow, and release it to fire an arrow. It sounds simple, it is simple, and it's great. This easy-to-use shooting mechanic allows you to focus on skillfully maneuvering your character around the world while also pulling off incredible shots. For a little extra challenge, you can let go of the trigger just as the targeting reticle is half full, and you'll pull off a skill shot. I'm not exactly sure what the mechanical benefit is, but it looks cool and feels awesome. Now, on the surface, the Pathless looks like a pretty standard good versus evil story. But as I learned more about the world and its people, the game has a well-developed philosophical theme. Let me read you one of the earliest bits of lore that you come across. Contentment. I came as a pilgrim to seek guidance from the Tall Ones, but found all the answers I needed on this little isle. A path is only good so long as you walk it, and now I am content to just sit, and be content. This type of self-reflection is consistent throughout the Pathless, and it's right up my alley. All in all, I found the Pathless to be a wonderful single-player experience. Even after I beat it, I couldn't stop myself from playing for hours on end, discovering the many hidden secrets around the world. It may not be for everyone, but the Pathless feels like a game that was made for me. Thanks for watching.